And then just go take all the pictures and skip the 3-1 line and nothing else, just write this book. Because we have this group over here has got so many points.
Then they give you credits, but they put it on the and it's like a 3-year
All right, are y'all ready? Y'all ready for this?
Rock and roll.
Isn't that like before the Spurs game? Y'all ready for this? All right. There we go. First, I want to go ahead and introduce Troop 398 and 3982, right? Okay, great. And they're going to help us with the pledges this evening. So if everybody could stand, and let's post the colors. Off to you. Here.
Color guard, attention. Color guard, forward, march. Color guard, post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
2. Color guard, reform. Color guard, forward, march. Color guard, pull. Color guard, dismiss. Audience, take your seats.
Let's give them a great big round of applause. You know, I think that is always very appropriate for us here in District 10. We've got a lot of veterans in this area here. Do we have any here tonight? Raise your hand if you're a veteran. All right, look at that. Let's give them a hand. Awesome. That always means a lot in what District 10 is all about. It's about neighborhoods. And we got a lot of veterans here, and active duty as well. They work out at Randolph, they work down at Fort Sam, and you know, we got a lot of military up in this area, and I'm really happy that it is that way, because it makes our community much better, I think, with that military background and leadership across. I'm prejudiced, I'm for the Air Force, of course, but okay, Army, Navy, Marines, let's see, Coast Guard is out there also, right? All right, great. Well, I want to go ahead and get started here. I wanted to talk about what we're going to do a little bit different, but we're going to do it at the end. Boards and commissions. You know, we've got over 90 boards and commissions here in San Antonio. We got a commission and a committee for everything. But we have to supply volunteers also here from District 10, and we have about 30 of those volunteers. And so what I want to do is at these meetings, and maybe if I can convince Councilman Gallagher to do as well, is have our committee members come up here and give us just a 5-minute thing on what they're doing and what this committee is all about. And that way you can hear what's going on with these committees, and also know who you can give input to if you have any comments for that particular committee. So we're going to get that started tonight, and we got a couple of them. Hopefully, I don't see Roy here yet, but hopefully he'll show up. Joe is here, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the program. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start with, is Councilman Clamp or Souls here? Neither one of them are here. Okay. Jeez. All right. I'm sure they're on the way. Okay. They're going to talk a little bit about redistricting. They were my representatives on the redistricting committee. That they're kind of finishing up their work right now, and I wanted them to tell you what impacts are going to be happening here to District 10. So let's give them a few more minutes, and we'll launch off when they get here. And if they don't show up, I'll spank them or something, you know, because they're not here on time. But let's go on. Y'all see what I'm wearing? Has anybody been yet? Okay, there's a few out there. Early voting. All right. Well, early voting is going on right now, and it's all these runoffs that are happening across Bexar County, and I don't think we have any city runoffs, but mostly Bexar County, and also for the Texas District representatives. So that's going on right now. So if you get a chance, get out there early voting. I walked in at Tobin Library, not a person in there. So I was able to walk right up, put that slip in there, and it's not very long, it's just a few. So get on out there and do your civic duty and vote. There you go. All right, and it just started today. Let's see, it goes, May 16th through the 20th for early voting, and the actual voting day is the 24th. So if you want to beat the lines, get out there early and vote early and get that done with. Let's see, if you got any questions, there's actually a telephone number. It's 210-335-VOTE or 8683. If you got any questions about the ballots or voting or anything, give them a call and they'll help you out. All right, we just got through with a big election here. What was that, a couple weeks ago? What are we looking at here? Election. What? They're putting it.
We put yours up there because you're going now.
Okay, all right. Election results. And I'm talking about the 22 through 27 bond. Did everybody get a chance to vote in that? Great. Fantastic. Thank you for voting. You know, I had particular concerns, and what I wanted to see on the bond, that's okay. It got passed unanimously on all 6 propositions. So that's the way the voting went. I'm all for it. I'm going to be out there saying, hey, let's get this work done and under construction and press on with the bond. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be watching the money. Okay, particularly on the housing, I still have big concerns about that, about it being undefined and just a lump of money that we're approving for them. So I'm still concerned about that, and I'm going to be watching that very closely, and we'll see where that goes over the next few years. It's not going to start right away. We have to go out and start that process of hiring consultants and engineers and architects to start this process. So all that's got to be done yet before we start having community meetings that apply to those projects. So I've had folks already calling in. When are we going to meet? We want to give you everything to get started on this. Just cool your jets. We'll be okay. We got plenty of time before we really get into that kind of discussion. But if you have any input on any of these projects, and if you go back to those pamphlets, you can take a look at all the projects that we got here in District 10. Take a look at those, and if you formulate your own thoughts, your wants, your desires, or any good ideas for any of those projects, give our office a call, let us know, and we'll make sure that you get notice whenever they start these community meetings to gather that information. If you come up with a list of things, that's great too. We'll be that much further ahead of the game on these projects when they actually start the real design out there. Gosh, I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, I just got this one here, Paul. Who did we have up next?
Special reach.
I got the wrong papers up here. Oh, here it is. I had it on the bottom. Sorry about that. Well, let's have our guest speakers. Our first one with Special Reach, Cici Osanma and Mia Hernandez. If y'all could come up and give us your information, that'd be great. Then y'all can listen to me later on after these folks come up here and give their portions. So thank y'all. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Y'all come on in.
Oh, sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here today. I hope you guys had a good weekend and good early voting day. We are truly honored to be here today. My name is Cici Osanma, as it said up there. I am the president and CEO of Special Reach. With me, this gorgeous young lady here is Mia Hernandez. She's our director of development. We are here to represent a local nonprofit organization whose mission is to, I'm not talking into the mic, but can you hear me? I have one of those teacher principal voices, so I told them not to, they wouldn't have anything to worry about. All right, our mission is to provide dynamic enrichment programs for children with special needs and respite for their families. I'm gonna ask you to indulge me. I usually like to know my audience, so if you know somebody who's caring for someone with special needs, or if you are caring for someone with special needs, can you raise your hand? Thank you. So for those of you who raised your hands, you know then that full-time caregiving for children with autism, Down syndrome, traumatic brain injury, and other developmental delays can be mentally and physically depleting. Whether you have a special needs child or not, the role of a caregiver can take a really heavy toll. Studies show that parents of children with developmental delays experience elevated level of stress, depression, sleep problems, headaches, and musculoskeletal pain. Right?
And if you wouldn't mind, Special Reach was founded by an incredible mother of a child with autism, Ms. Cici right here, who saw that there were not enough resources for the number of children and families who needed them. She rounded up a group of qualified volunteers, sprang into action, and created Special Reach. As Cici just mentioned, every parent or caregiver needs a break every now and then. I myself am the mother of a 5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. I work full-time, my husband works full-time, and we don't have any family in the immediate area for emergency support. Additionally, COVID was a challenging time because we weren't going anywhere, and we certainly weren't thinking about inviting babysitters into our home. But I want to make an important distinction. At Special Reach, respite care is not synonymous with babysitting. What respite care actually looks like definitely depends on the organization providing the care. It can look a lot like babysitting, but it has the potential to be so much more.
For a lot of parents and caregivers, of children with developmental delays, there can be a sense of guilt and even the realization that it is incredibly challenging to find appropriate care outside your immediate family. At Special Reach, we understand this, and we are passionate to ensure that parents' minds are put at ease when leaving their children at our programs. We know that a disability diagnosis can be overwhelming, but that is where Special Reach comes in with the support that not only these families need, but they deserve. We serve children with developmental delays ages 6 to 18 years old.
Special Reach programs are offered consistently year-round, and as a truly inclusive organization, non-disabled siblings 5 and older are always welcome. Finding respite care is hard enough, but putting the burden on the parents to find separate activities for all of their children at different locations at the same time and coordinating pickup and drop-off isn't exactly respite at all. And that's something that we considered when we were designing our services. We also know that one of the biggest considerations that families have to make when it comes to seeking out entertaining and inclusive services is cost. Something that we pride ourselves on is we have never turned a family away for financial difficulties. We offer scholarships to make sure that money is never the reason why a family doesn't receive the benefits of the services that we offer.
One of the biggest barriers, though, and probably the biggest question on any parent's mind is, who's taking care of my child? All our programs are staffed with highly qualified professionals such as state-certified special education teachers, licensed speech pathologists, and we employ a registered nurse with about 36 years of experience who is present at every program to ensure that every medical need is met. As parents, we know that you want to be assured that leaving your child or children in capable hands, that you are leaving your child or children in capable hands. And not only are our staff trained and certified, we also train our amazing volunteers. At every program, we strive for a 1-to-1 ratio and between the participant and the volunteers, so that your child will have a body throughout the program who will model those social skills that they're trying to develop. Our volunteers are supervised directly by our staff and trained to let the staff know immediately if a child has any problem, whether it's a medical problem or maybe they're just not having fun. Because we want everyone to have the best experience possible every time they attend a Special Reach program. The kids are being left with the same people that you leave them with during the school day. And speaking of volunteers, we are always looking to add to our roster of over 130 current volunteers who come out and spend time with our children week after week. We welcome volunteers of all ages. However, volunteers under the age of 15 just need to have a volunteer, an adult volunteer with them. We're also a very good way for your high schoolers and your college kids to get volunteer hours. And of course, volunteering on a regular basis always looks good on those college and postgraduate applications. So if you have a family member who wants to volunteer, whether they're an adult or a teenager, please send them our way. All the adults will need to pass a background check, and all volunteers need a brief training.
We are truly unique when it comes to how we design our programs. We have 3 main goals. First, to promote wellness for families of children with special needs by positively impacting their overall health through carefully curated events and respite. Second, to create unique opportunities that encourage physical activity, promote social development, and create peer friendships. And third, to offer exciting experiences that have our participants returning throughout the year. We remain aware that social isolation at school happens more often than we would hope when it comes to children with developmental delays. This is why one of our main goals is to provide children with the ability to go back to school on Monday and engage their peers with stories, either verbally or visually, about the amazing party they went to on Friday night, or the exciting spring break or summer program where they were able to have the same types of experiences as their non-disabled peers in a healthy and safe environment. Our passion is ensuring that all children, no matter their diagnosis, have a memorable childhood that will help shape the rest of their lives.
On Friday evenings, we offer party nights. These are themed, unique twists on Parents' Night Outs, where the program staff and volunteers guide participants through activities such as basketball, soccer, themed crafts, video games, and my favorite, a time to drop everything and dance. And we do it in a dance hall complete with laser lights, and that's where I get my weekly workout. Now, this is a party, not school. So while we encourage every child to participate in the activities we have planned, we also offer some alternatives for children who have different preferences. We still offer our Friday night virtual Move and Zoom dance parties because some of the families, we have children who are immunocompromised due to rare disorders and are at risk of severe complications should they contract a virus. We are committed to staying engaged with these families who have remained cautious about bringing their children out to public places. We also have had situations where parents didn't notice that their child was running a fever, and they would bring them to our program, and then we will discover that the child is not feeling well. And in that scenario, the child can go home and join on our Zoom party, and that way they don't feel like they're missing out. Keeping this option open for families has received an incredible amount of positive feedback, and we plan to keep it going for as long as necessary.
The San Antonio Adventure Program is offered during all school breaks such as Thanksgiving, winter, and spring break, and features entertainment from community guests such as local mascots, character actors, Zumba instructors, local musicians, and more. This program provides the children with experiences that most non-disabled children would take for granted. Our summer programs offer a true summer camp experience. In 2022, we are offering 2 5-day summer enrichment programs that are similar in design to our San Antonio Adventure Program, filled with special guests and activities. And our third opportunity this year is our 4-day Summerfest experience, which is going to be held at Morgan's Wonderland Camp. This opportunity features fully inclusive summer activities such as a lazy river, horseback riding, zip lining, a nature center, and more. Registration is still open for all of our summer programs as well as all of our upcoming party nights.
The last program we would like to talk to you about is our Alumni Support Program, which was recently added to combat transition difficulties that children aging out of our programs are facing. Once someone with developmental delays is no longer in the school system, their options for consistent socialization opportunities becomes even more limited. This program allows our alumni to come back and continue to practice their social skills, and they return as mentors to the younger children after they turn 19.
So naturally, we need to discuss how to get signed up to participate. You're going to head over to our programs page at www.specialreach.com and apply. We have a 4-step application process, and all 4 steps must be completed before an applicant is approved for services. Everything can be found in detail on our website.
We are truly grateful for this opportunity to talk to you about Special Reach. You have been an amazing host and audience. Thank you. The services that are available to families with children who have special needs are all on our website, like Mia said. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. We'll be here all evening, or you can go to our website. You can follow us on social media. We are on all the platforms. Email our program coordinator, Casey, at info@specialreach.org, or just give us a call, 210-784-7478. We are here to serve and support you. Thank you so much for having us.
Let's see if there's any questions here. Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question. My daughter is an occupational therapist with special needs children, particularly autism. I just messaged her and she's not heard of you. How do professionals in the field so that they can share with their clients? She works at she is an OT in a behavioral clinic, and so they are almost all autistic children.
Right.
How do they find out about you to be able to share this information with their families that they treat?
One way is for tonight.
Yeah,
Well, I'm obviously already doing it, but I'm
yes.
wondering why she didn't already know.
So that is something I would love to answer, because I've only been with Special Reach since January, and one of the first things they told me in my interview was that we are San Antonio's best kept secret and we are tired of it. And honestly, I agree. This is an amazing organization with the most passionate people, and nobody knows about us. So we have started this campaign. We've been at almost all of your city council meetings. We take the opportunity to speak whenever we can, and we are really trying to get the word out. So that is why, even if you're here tonight and you don't know someone specifically, but maybe your neighbor does, or just share. We would love for you to share about what we do, because we want to reach people who are not getting our services. We want to get into those neighborhoods who don't know about us, and we are ready to expand. So let them know.
Because this is
Where
something
are
they
you
can
located?
share with their clients.
So that is a good question. So we offer our services. Part of the reason we're here is that we offer our services in different community centers around San Antonio, and we actually are gonna be at Morgan's Wonderland this Friday. And so we partner with different organizations in town, and we're working with the City Parks and Recreation. We're actually working with the councilman's office, and we want to come to you instead of you come to us. There's a question in the back.
Funding.
I'm sorry?
Are you funded by the city?
Not at the moment. We're working on that.
Is it private funding?
Yes, and foundations, grants, and local businesses. Yes, ma'am.
If the person lives right outside our city in Windcrest, can they participate in this program?
Yes, actually, our
Absolutely.
summer program is off of Waltham, so
And
yes.
Yes, we actually serve most of the surrounding counties. I think there might be 2 surrounding counties that we don't have current participants from, but you do not have to be a Bexar County resident.
All right, great. Well, let's get
Thank you for
everybody-
having us.
All right, great. And everybody says, well, why do we do these nonprofits and organizations here at a district meeting? It's just because of this, is to get the word out about all these great organizations that are providing a lot of services that people don't even know about. So this is an opportunity for you to help spread the word across District 10. All right, Jacob Howard, he's from our planning department here in San Antonio. Come on up and let's hear what you got to say.
Hello everyone, how are you guys tonight?
Good, all right.
Let me get my stuff out of the way. There you go.
Clicker.
There you go.
So my name is Jacob Howard. I'm with the planning department. This is Anna Villarreal. She's also with the planning department. Oh. Can you guys hear me? So I'm Jacob Howard. I'm with the planning department. This is Anna Villarreal. She's also with the planning department. We're here tonight mostly to let you guys know about a couple of community meetings that we're going to be putting on in the near future that you guys can participate to. But before that, I wanted to see who in here is familiar with SA Tomorrow Comprehensive Plan or has heard of that before. So handful of hands. All right, great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, just some background. I have a couple slides on that, and then give you guys more information about the community meetings. So in 2016, City Council adopted 3 plans, actually. So it was the comprehensive plan, the multimodal transportation plan, and then also a sustainability plan. So this was back in 2016, and sort of the prompt that the community was asked to address was just this idea of what will San Antonio look like in the year 2040. So this was back again in 2016, when one of the things that people were asked to consider was just the increase in population that we see in the community and in the county. So that was sort of the prompt, and since then, since those plans were adopted, so in the comprehensive plan, there are 9 elements that were specifically developed to address this. So one was the growth in city form element, one was transportation and connectivity, one was housing, jobs, economic competitiveness, community health, wellness, natural resources, historic preservation. We have the military element in our comprehensive plan, and then also public facilities and community safety element. So this is all in the 2016 comprehensive plan. Because obviously that is a complicated question, right, that we just covered. You know, a lot of information, the 9 elements, the population. Rather than coming up with specific details of how we're going to address those things for the entire city, we have 30 sub-areas. Okay, so the planning department, Anna and I, are going around in phases to each of these sub-areas, so there's 30 of them. And we are asking local neighborhoods, leaders, business holders, stakeholders, you guys, the public, to think about this stuff and to come to our meetings and give us your feedback and a vision for how this should look, how your area, you would want it to be maybe in 10 years, 20 years, and really help us put together a vision so we can have a plan for how the city should be addressing these things. Okay, so we are now in phase 3. So these are the 6 plans of phase 3. I'm the project manager for the Greater Airport Area Plan, which you can see there. And we have a couple of people who are familiar with that. The Rolling Oaks area, that's Anna's plan. She's the project manager for the Rolling Oaks area. But we also have the Stone Oak area. And then if anyone in here lives in the Belle Meade neighborhood, you might be in the Fort Sam Houston area. That's the only part of D10 that's in the Fort Sam Houston area. Okay, so we're just now getting started with phase 3. Okay, so we're in 1, analysis and visioning. We're going to be having a community meeting coming up for all of these plan areas that we just talked about that you can participate in. We want you guys to get the word out about the community meetings to your neighborhoods. When we're through with that, we'll be moving into phase 2, where we'll be taking some of the visioning input that we got from the community, really figuring out what it means for the specific sub-areas. Then we'll look at recommendations and implementations that you guys want to see in the area. And then finally, phase 4, we'll move through the documentation and adoption process. So these plans are adopted by council, they go through planning commission, and they are important documents, so we need people to participate. So this is a map of the Stone Oak area. I know it's probably not big enough for you to tell whether or not you live in that area, but for if you're a D10 resident, you'd probably be sort of in the lower corner over here. This is Rolling Oaks, so the entirety of Rolling Oaks is in D10. Maybe you live in that area, that would be, Anna would be your point of contact. This is Fort Sam Houston. And then this is the Greater Airport Area Regional Center Plan. So then these are the community meetings that we have coming up soon. So if you are in the Stone Oak area, and I have printed out maps, and I'll be here after the meeting to help you figure out if you're in one of these areas. You can come to the Stone Oak meeting. It's going to be May 17th at 5:30 p.m. It's an open house format, so there's no presentation. It's just a chance for you to talk to the project manager, Channery Gould. That's going to be at the Wayside Chapel. Rolling Oaks, or well, I guess, yeah, Rolling Oaks will be the next one, May 31st at 5:30 p.m. Then the greater airport area will be at June 7th. That's going to be at the Coker United Methodist Church. And then we're still working on the location for our fourth Sam Houston. And then this is the contact information for the project manager. So every plan has a project manager. So you should, if you live in those areas and you're interested in participating, you should get in contact with this person. I can help you figure out exactly if you're in one of the 4 areas after the meeting. And you can get more information about how best to participate and have your voice heard. So that's the end of the presentation. Does anyone have, I'm going to put the meeting dates back up. Does anybody have any questions about that? Yes. Yeah.
I have a question about, do you coordinate with the Regional Mobility Authority?
Via Metropolitan, the Via Transit Agency. So in San Antonio, that would be.
So do you have anything to do with this proposed tunnel that may possibly impact San Antonio and San Pedro Springs?
So, to be entirely honest, so I believe that's going through the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a different agency that we have not coordinated with to this point. That's a great question, and if you have an opinion on it, I would encourage you to come to the community meeting for the Greater Airport area on June 7th and participate in that way. In terms of the specifics of the plan, the plan hasn't been drafted yet. Like I said, we're number 1, the analysis and visioning. So, right now it doesn't say anything about the tunnel, and I don't know that I would anticipate it would. But
What was that last sentence, right now?
right now, there's nothing has been developed in the plan. So it does not say anything about any tunnel, and that's not in the comprehensive plan. We're not necessarily thinking about the tunnel in that way. Yeah.
So, I don't live in any of those areas, but what happens in those areas does affect me as a citizen of San Antonio. So even if we don't live in the area, are we welcome to attend those meetings?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and is this kind of, if I'm not mistaken, a follow through from SA 2020?
That's a slightly different process. That was about a vision. There's a lot of so she asked about the SA Vision 2020 program. So this is a slightly different program from that. There's a lot of overlap, but we don't necessarily take our direction from that process. We take it from the SA Tomorrow Comprehensive Plan. And she also asked, if you don't live in one of the plan areas, are you still welcome to participate? And the answer is yes. So if you have an interest in the airport area, or Stone Oak, or Rolling Oaks, or Fort Sam Houston, by chance, you're definitely welcome to participate. Way in the back.
So, the corridors that are planned for have a lot of impact, because they're proposed to be up to a quarter mile away from major roads, and you can give feedback to change that, what the corridors are?
So the corridors, you can give feedback to discuss how to discuss the corridors and your opinion on those during this process. So that is one of the SA corridors plan is something that came out of the comprehensive planning effort, and so those plans will be looked at during this process. Absolutely.
That it? All right, great. Let's give them a hand. Y'all planning on sticking around here for a little bit? Yeah, in case they're going to stick around also till the end of the meeting here. If you had any further questions, please come up and talk with them. All right. Well, not my immediate predecessor, but 2 prior to that, Souls and Clamp, they're not showing tonight. So, guess who's going to stand in and do the tap dance for them? Do you want to do that, sir? No. I'll go ahead and talk about redistricting. One of the reasons that I picked Councilman Souls and Clamp is because they went through this process before. So they knew what to expect. They knew how to kind of position, discuss, and push back if need be. If people are trying to, or other districts are trying to poach on District 10, So I picked them specifically to be able to do that and attend those meetings, and they did. And let me tell you, there were several areas here in District 10 that people were looking at. Royal Ridge, you know, they're on the other side of 35. They're right in the middle of District 2. They were looked at. They, and Councilman Clamp and Souls, were able to fend that off. Belle Meade and the Towers, you know, they're only connected to District 10 by a sidewalk. A sidewalk and a curb that connects them to District 10. I was sitting next to the mayor during the discussions, and he's saying, "Why is that in District 10? And he kept looking at me, and I said, "Well, that's the way it was set up last time." And, you know, the other districts might not like it too much on when it comes to voting in those two areas. So he backed off, but he was kind of putting the pressure on us to say, hey, we need to move those out of District 10. Luckily, that didn't happen. And that, again, is credit to Councilman Souls and Clamp being able to fend that off and keep that in District 10. Because let me tell you, both of those areas, all three of those areas were burning my ears saying, we don't want to go to District 2. We don't want to go to District 1. We want to stay in District 10. So I consider that a win for District 10, that we're basically keeping everything that we had, except for, was it one community that was split between 9 and 10, and that community said, hey, we'd like to go ahead and be with our brothers in District 9, you know, since we're split anyway. So we said, okay, yeah, sure, that sounds like a good idea. So that community is going to District 9. But for the rest of District 10, we're staying pretty much exactly the way we are right now. So I consider that a win. Let's give them an applause in abstention. But yeah, I'm really proud of them that they were able to do that. Really proud that they were able to do that.
Are they afraid to show their faces?
Well, you know, I don't know. You'd have to ask them that. But no, I'm really happy that they were able to do that. I just want to take a quick moment to, we got some people that are actually running for office in here, and if y'all could stand up and wave your hands, and okay, that's Miss Corbell, you got Trish DeBerry, Steve Allison. Ma'am, who are?
Bethany Felice, I'm a Democratic nominee in 121.
Okay, in 121, okay. And, oh, yeah, Carol.
Carol Patterson, right?
Yeah, Carol Patterson, and for the Edwards Aquifer Authority, okay?
In
Great.
November.
In November, okay. Still a lot of running and racing to do until November, but get out there and vote early for the runoffs that's going on right now. So that's great. Thank y'all for being recognized. Are y'all going to stick around here till the end of the meeting in case somebody might want to come up and talk to you? So, all right, great. City annual budget. Let's talk about that a little bit. What has been my top 3 priorities? Not my top priorities, but your top 3 priorities since 2017 when I first got on council. Can anybody say what those 3 are? Streets. Well, that's part of this infrastructure. Streets and drainage infrastructure. What else? Public safety. More policemen, right? And what was the third area? Taxes. I heard it. Property taxes. Well, I was successful in 19 to get our very first homestead exemption done here in town. And now I'm working to raise that homestead exemption. And the county, when Trish was still on Precinct 3, they were able to talk about, didn't get it passed, but it just passed recently, about starting a homestead exemption from the county also. So this is starting to add up. And then there were 2 constitutional amendments raising the homestead exemption from schools, and also, I forget which the other one was, but 2 constitutional amendments having to do with property taxes to help out our homeowners. So those, and now with the city, with help of John Courage and myself, raising it maybe to a 10% and maybe even higher. We still have that discussion to do, but we're going to get off of this very lowest amount that we've had for the last couple of years. So I'm happy about that. That's a win. That is a win for District 10 and the rest of the city. So I'm really happy about the homestead exemption, how that's kind of sorting out. There's still some folks on council that don't want any. raise in the homestead exemption. I would encourage you to call other council folks across the city saying, we need help. Give us a larger homestead exemption. And, by the way, I have stepped up to the plate saying, I'm going to go visit San Antonio River Authority, the hospital district, the school districts. I'm going to go out and visit every one of those and show them how much additional revenue they've been getting over the last 5 to 10 years, that they've never had to adjust the tax rate or anything because our property values keep going up. And I'm going to show that to them and say, hey, why don't y'all consider following the city's lead and offering a homestead exemption? Kind of shaming them into it, right? Because it is a shame. They have not done anything to help out our homeowners across San Antonio. And I'm going to put them on the spot. And I'll need your help with that as well. So stay tuned on that. I'll let you know when those meetings are, and we can get a busload of folks. That would be great to go in there to some of those organizations and talk to them. So stay tuned on that. Policemen. Right now, what the city manager has laid in so far, and it might be more again, is 50 additional police authorizations here for the city. 50 for this next budget. And then another 28 in the next budget. So I consider that a win. We're getting additional police officers. So that's another big win for District 10, and we're going to get some additional here in the district and across San Antonio. So I'm really happy about that one. And the last one was infrastructure. We have plussed up our infrastructure, particularly in streets, to get a bigger bang for the buck, if you will, not only with a bond, but our yearly general fund to put more into streets. You know, and I preach about this every year. We've got 400 miles out of 4,000 that are graded F. That means they've totally failed. We've got to redig them out and rebuild them and resurface those streets. So our total bill right now, and I keep harping on this, with all infrastructure needs, $6.6 billion. And if we don't start investing more in our infrastructure, that number is just going to continue to grow. And unless we make substantial investments to even keep it at that number and not growing, we got to put some more money into it. That's all there is. So I'm going to keep pressing that until we get some more resources put towards the infrastructure needs here in San Antonio and for District 10 here. So, any questions on the budget? Anything? Yes, sir. John.
Okay, I should only answer this. When do you anticipate all the work on Harry Wurzbach and all that being?
Okay, you're talking about the SPUI, the interchange on Harry Wurzbach. That's supposed to be done at the end of the summer. Right? Yes, this summer. Right now, I was just by there today, and they're paving on the southbound lane. That's already being paved. And then they'll start on the northbound lane, and then they'll tie in the connections from the SPUI. So, yeah, the end of this summer. So, one of my priorities next is to do the rest of Harry Wurzbach from Austin Highway all the way to 410 and all the way to the back gate of Fort Sam. So, to redo that and do it correctly with sidewalks, bike paths, and all that stuff to make it a nice boulevard. Because that's our largest employer here in San Antonio is Fort Sam, and you got thousands of vehicles traveling there every day. So we want to fix that place up. Not to mention the fact that that's also the National Cemetery down that road also, that we need to pay better respect to those folks that are being buried there, and for the families and friends that attend those funerals as well. So that's high on my list as well. So that's it on the city budget. Let me talk a little bit about what I said at the very beginning. I want to start bringing in our committee members, our 30-something committee members, to tell you what they're doing on these committees and what to look out for. And if you have comments, that's the person you want to get to give them comments on whatever they're working on. We had Roy Schaffel. He's not here. He's ill. But Joe Nix is here tonight, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about Brooks Development Board down there. Come on up, Joe. And remember, these are all volunteers. Takes out their time. Takes out their time to go to these meetings and do whatever they need to do on all these different committees. Do we have any slides or anything, or you just want to talk? Okay, come and tell us about Brooks and what you got going on down there. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, talk real close into that microphone.
Well, they say it's not paid, but every meeting we have, they serve us lunch, so I guess we are getting paid. I printed out some stuff so I don't ramble on and on about Brooks. It's unique, and some of you guys know, about everybody knows that it used to be our Air Force Base. At that time, in fact, Councilman Perry was an officer there, and you were stationed there?
Yep, stationed there 5 years.
Yeah, in fact, he was on one of the committees or one of the details that took Sidney Brooks and actually have his burial place there at Brooks, wherever it was he was before, but they were responsible for bringing him in, and it's actually a nice monument that's down there right now at Brooks. But I'm going to read some stuff that you can get this off the internet, but it's easier for me to go ahead and go through this rather than putting a lot of my words in it. But I'm going to describe the Brooks development area. I'm on the Brooks Development Authority. It's, again, it used to be the old Air Force Base, now they call it City Base, and they've even changed that, now it's just really called Brooks. But the vision for the Brooks is the world-class region honoring our rich and vibrant history, encompassing transformative investments that contribute to San Antonio, Texas' overall support. Generally, in that it's kind of the area around where Brooks is, but it's expanding. And not just that area in District 6, but encumbers all parts of San Antonio. It's one reason, in fact, well, let me get to that. Brooks is a 1,308-acre mixed-use community in San Antonio, owned and managed by the Brooks Development Authority. We are governed by an 11-member board of directors that's appointed by the city council. So we are independent, but we're not. We are, in fact, we work like a little city unto ourselves, but we are still part of San Antonio, cover all the rules and regulations of San Antonio for development and everything else. And we are individually controlled by city council. It's a very unique situation. I'm really pleased to be able to be on that board and work with that. It's most unique. Used to be on the zoning commission, thanks to Annette, and this is totally different from that. Anyway, Brooks itself was, it's a public-private partnership created in 2001 by the United States Congress, State of Texas, and the City of San Antonio to redevelop the old Brooks base. The mission is to promote and develop a dynamic and sustainable and inclusive community by serving as a catalyst for transformative, I'll get it in a minute, economic development and regional prosperity. It's been very successful at that time, and it's just getting better. We have a brand, and in fact, I got a brand and also the values of the Brooks Development Authority. The Brooks is an energetic San Antonio community rich in history and strategically located where you live, work, learn, play, and stay. It is working like a little city unto itself. We've got all the amenities of a small city, but we've also got the influence going around it. We've got schools, we've got universities, hospitals, public schools that are down there. Of course, a lot of economic development type. Training facilities. The Bexar County Sheriff's Department just recently leased some area for a training center down there at Brooks. A lot of things going on. The values, and this is stuff we just talked about within the authority a few months ago, defining our core values. And the core values are to know it's bigger than us, to think big and fantastic, stop, collaborate, and listen, own it, and then get it done. And I'm very pleased that the group of directors I work with and the staff that we have down there are getting it done. I'm just gonna go real quick through some of who these board of directors are, just so you have an idea of the caliber of people down there. Our chairman is Jim Campbell, and he also just recently was appointed, or I'm not sure he was appointed or elected, chairman of the San Antonio River Authority Board of Directors. We also have the assistant chairman, Dr. Lorraine Polito. She's with the Alamo College District Trustees for District 4, and she's a teacher out with the Communications Department, UTSA San Antonio. She brings her PhD to a lot of help. One of the most outstanding we have that just recently is the interim president and chief executive officer of CPS Energy, Rudy Garza. He's always been a good contributor and a valuable person on that board. David Christian, he was a judge with the San Antonio Municipal Court System, and he also at one time served on the City Zoning Commission. From the City Council's office, or City Manager's office, Alex Lopez. She's an assistant city manager and involved in a lot of different areas. Go online and see what the other stuff that she has. Very quiet, small little girl with a lot of energy and a lot of, I will say, personality. She's a strong-willed lady. Reminds me a lot of my mom. Pat Jasso, she's a retired AT&T executive, and she also served 15 years as an Air Force reservist. She just recently concluded her tenure as the vice chairman of the San Antonio Water System Board back in 2020. Dan Rossiter, he's an assistant program manager of research and development at a Southwest Research Institute. If you're familiar with any of that, they have a lot of innovative stuff, and Dan brings a lot of innovative ideas to the board. Anita Martin is the Director of Community Relations with University Health System. And then Roland Garza, who's an equity partner with a small business background in construction. He doesn't have a lot of title, but Roland has been very dynamic in leading our group or contributing to our group. I just want to say this has been, to me, a very fantastic issue. My boss asked me the other day about how long I was going to stay on the board, and I said, as long as the councilman allows me to stay. It has been very dynamic, and there's great people to work with. We are working, particularly myself and District 9, trying to see how much influence that the Brooks can do as we reach out further to the north. It would concentrate down in that southeast part of town, and it's continuing to be a big impact. But we've got a lot of employers or a lot of employees that actually work down there that come from this side of town, and so it all fits together. But again, while we're independent, we are also very dependent. That we serve at the council's wishes, as each councilman has their own appointee, and the mayor, Alex being the mayor's appointee. But I'll be glad to talk with some more about any of this with that. But I do encourage you to go online, and there's a lot of good information on there. Just knock in or put in there Brooks Development Authority, and it's got a whole lot of information, more than I even realized with my orientation. But again, I appreciate the opportunity to serve in that fashion. I've been in District 10 since '81, and I can vouch for Paul over here. He was in the school with my daughter all the way from kindergarten through, all the way through A&M. So we can verify that he has been a District 10 resident even before District 10 was created as a district.
Great, let's give Joe. Oh, we got a question back here. Joe, you got a question back here. Yes, sir.
Actually, it's more of a comment.
Okay.
They have also recently completed a connection between the Brooks Base and the Mission Trails. So you can actually ride or walk between that and go to the mission. So it's really nice.
We also have just opened a dog park down there for two of them, one for little dogs, one for big dogs. Just had their grand opening a couple of weeks ago, and it's open to the public.
All right, great. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. And let me tell you, right now I have probably about 25 people signed up to be volunteers on different committees. And I encourage all of you, if you want to give back to the community, sign up. Give Samantha Wickwire a call in my office and say, hey, put my name down on the list to volunteer for some other committee. I know a lot of you in here are already members of different committees, and I really appreciate that. But we're always looking for more volunteers across for all these other committees that are going on, because people get tired of attending, or they have other interests, that kind of thing. So step up and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to give back a little bit, and we would really, really appreciate it. Well, with that, I didn't have any other topics. Do any of y'all have any questions for me? We got a couple more minutes here. Councilman Gallagher, I want you to know I'm staying on time tonight. All right. Any questions for me? Geez, y'all gonna let me off this easy? Oh, well, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Things that I seem to notice is when they do projects, that kind of thing, in particular down by HEB, they're doing the new HEB on Bulverde. They did all the new streets, put in all these nice things, that kind of thing, and we have weeds that are like past knee high. They do these the things in the middle of the roads, but then nobody takes care of them. And it's all for town that way.
Yeah. The question was, we had this beautiful area and medians set up down around Bulverde Marketplace and all that, and now they're all grown up. Yes, the city is responsible for that. And call 311 when you see it getting big like that, and tell them and get that reference number. But if they don't respond in a reasonable amount of time, call my office with that reference number. And yes, Jarvis isn't here tonight, but Jarvis can tell you how much I'm after him to get after development services and code compliance about getting out there and enforcing keeping grass cut across this whole district. But some of it is city requirements. We've actually taken some medians and we've filled them up with rocks where we don't have to go back and cut them. And I can see that I can guarantee you that's what's going to happen there also in these medians, so we don't have to go back and perform that maintenance all the time, going back and forth like that.
The one on Jones Maltzberger, I call him almost every month. I even had a name of a guy I know was in my phone contacts. I had to call every month.
Yeah.
Got knee high.
Yeah.
I said, okay.
Well, we don't have that anymore. We got rocks there.
I know, and I think they got
So, and we got some weeds growing up in that too, but we're going to take care of that too. We got some poison coming up there for the weeds. So anyway, I could see that happening on medians and other places in the district also, is whenever we have a little bit of money left here and there, we can go in there and do that. And one of the things that I wanted to mention also, in this next budget, I requested, every year we get about $200,000 for what we call NAMP projects. That's like for lighted stop signs, those chevron signs, speed humps, and things like that. I asked for that to be doubled, and right now that's in the budget to get over $450,000 this next year for NAMP projects around the district. So, yippee! We get to, and that's money that's in my control. That's not anybody else's money. That's my money that I can use where we need those safety things out on our streets. But yes, we'll take a look at that about filling that with gravel out there too. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I had a question specifically about getting some sort of mitigation for the stop sign at Chevy Chase and Breeze. It's a four-way stop, and there is consistent, higher speed traffic going through there. They don't bother to stop. My daughter rides her bike to the Target with her friends, and it's really a danger.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the additional police officers and enforcement. Let me tell you, the speeders are your neighbors over there. Talk to your neighbors. Say, please slow down. But yeah, if you see something reported, take down a license plate number or whatever, call it in. But yeah, I know that problem exists in that area because we got these long, long streets, and they're just, people get faster and faster and faster the further they go. So call it in, and that might be an opportunity to put those flashing stop signs there. and call that in and let us know. Maybe we can do that over there. Anything else? Yes, sir, Jim.
What about the visibility of various signs being covered up by vegetation, growing the speed limit signs? And,
Yep, call it in 311. 311. We're spending millions of dollars every year on 311. Use it. Use it. Call them before you call my office. And if you don't get any results, call my office with the reference number that you get every time you call in 311. Yes, sir.
Are sidewalks an important part of the infrastructure program?
Yes. Yes. I forget how much money it is. It's somewhere $40 million or something like that for primarily filling in gaps in our sidewalk system. Yeah. All
Did
right.
I mention
Warren,
sidewalk
yes.
patrol?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry. You mentioned that earlier. Come on up and tell us what we're talking about here.
I had the honor of being the very first president of. I told other people, use the microphone.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Warren Rumi, and I was honored to be the very first president of Cellular on Patrol. And Southwestern Bell Telephone gave us chargeable radios that we could use to call SAPD. And they were about that big, with a battery about that big. And we had a big old bank that we had to turn them in to the North Substation and get them charged. We had a great following with board of directors from the very beginning. Some of you guys are still active today. A bunch of them have retired, and we need people to be on the board of directors. Al Philippus, the police chief, didn't want to sign off on Cellular on Patrol unless we made it a nonprofit. So we went through all the hoops, created a nonprofit, and he signed off on it. And we're supposed to be the eyes and ears of San Antonio Police to help them. And that's what the radio was all about, was we were taught to observe and call in on the radio to help the police officers. In order to be a nonprofit, we have to have meetings once every 3 months, and all the board of directors have to be present, or we have a certain number. It would be great if any of you could help us out and be on the board. Originally, we'd ask each neighborhood, how's your neighborhood? How's it going? What are you doing? This neighborhood. We had presidents of the different neighborhoods to come and make a presentation. Hey, we're getting a lot of break-ins, things like that. So we were able to really work with the neighborhoods. So consider checking out Cellular on Patrol, being on the board. The website shows that the next class is scheduled, but it's not confirmed. Doesn't look like we can get the room there at the substation. So it's on the website, but it's not confirmed.
All right, great. Thanks, Warren. All right, now the moment we've all been waiting for. All right, I'm going to stick my hand. Now, I'm not looking. I'm going to get your tickets out. Who doesn't have a ticket? Oh, too bad, Renette. She'll get you a ticket. Who else doesn't have a ticket? Oh, all right. In the back, Sarah. In the back. A couple more. Man, y'all should have been here earlier. My goodness. Come on, Minnie.
Question. Oh, you're trying to get it.
Hurry with those tickets. Hurry with those tickets. All right. You got all the duplicates in here? Okay. Got one more coming in here. All right. Should we let the nonprofit have a ticket too? Yes, I'm just teasing. Okay, we got some bags up here as always. Three bags?
Yeah, and then lunch with you.
Okay, all right, 3 bags. First number is 552. 552. There we go. There's a winner back there. All right. Okay, next one. 545. 545. There's a winner. All right. Last bag. Last bag. And these bags got goodies in them. Little goodies, all right. 570. 570. No 570? Last time? All right, let's go to the next ticket. I don't mess around here. All right, 572. That was pretty close. There it is. Joe, thank you. All right. And here's the last ticket, last drawing. And y'all remember what that last drawing is for? Lunch with me, yes. You and your significant other can come spend the lunchtime with me. It's free, of course. Free, of course. All right, 558. Who's got 558? All right. Matt, come on up. All right, great. Well, listen, that pretty much ends tonight. I think there's still some fruit and cookies in the back. Y'all go ahead and clean it all out. Otherwise, I got to take it home and eat it myself. All right, thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening. Thanks for coming. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.